Did I say I don't like black people?
No, didn't say that. But there were people who were wondering why Memphis was targeted. Like
Milwaukee was too. Did they miss that one too? They didn't see that?
not as much commentary on Milwaukee.
I said Milwaukee as well.
Yeah.
41 years old. It's two cities I do not like playing in right now. And that's Milwaukee and that's Memphis. What is your problem?
LeBron James. He has now at the tip of the spear of trying, and you making that face, Ruben, almost like a I told you so type of thing. But now the biggest face in basketball is basically advocating for Memphis to leave, for the Grizzlies to leave. But now he's trying to walk it back by saying, you know, it's not being anti-black, it's all about a hotels thing. So before we get into it, what was your takeaway from what LeBron said? Because you've been here for a minute. I know you're a transplant or a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
From what you've seen during your time here, how could you kind of describe?
Hold on, before you answer.
Yes.
Jordan or LeBron?
Oh my. This is not what it's about.
Just-
I'm from Chicago.
And why are you looking
Just
at me
making
like
sure.
I'm a
I'm from
Jordan
Chicago.
guy?
I'm from Chicago.
Just making sure that we had to
Why
validate.
you pointed at me
this
like I'm a
basketball
LeBron
opinion
guy?
before we got started.
Look.
Okay, now we can go. Now
Yeah.
you're free. You're
Yeah,
free.
yeah.
You're free to go
Okay,
now.
we're still friends?
Yeah, we're good. We're talking.
Okay, all right, okay.
Everybody's a Jordan guy on this set.
Look, I'm from Chicago.
My dad is from Chicago. We talked about that.
I'm Sox, Blackhawks, Bulls, and Bears. Like,
Well, I don't know about the Sox
you
now.
love Cubs, I love you too.
I'm a Cubs.
I'm a
Hey,
Sox
that's what I'm
boy.
saying. I don't know about the Sox now. I did like Frank Thomas though.
I like the big hurt. So, okay, back to the LeBron take. Thoughts?
I look at it from different lenses. I do obviously don't like the fact that when he said it and why he said it in the context. But what I will say is this, is that this is a city of very proud people, and they love their city.
Yep.
And I'm new here, just got here 7 months ago, but I love me some Memphis, Tennessee. And the people I've talked to, they're just like, why us? You know, like, we got enough going on. We don't need your mouth, kind of, muddying the floor a bit. But for me, this city needs something like that, like it's jobs and vision. People got something to do for a good several months out the year to go watch something, go hang out with people, spend time together, network. It's for business and it's also for pleasure. So you take something like this away, you leave us with the Redbirds. Love you, Redbirds.
I was just at a Redbirds game last
But
weekend.
Still not the same caliber. You're
But
talking
it's
about
not.
NBA.
But it's not the same thing. Nashville has stuff already. But for me, I would hate to see it go because we're already losing jobs. And we don't need more jobs. Even if they're seasonal, they're still jobs.
Here's as we discussed this, there is an underlying concern about Memphis, about the Grizzlies moving to Nashville, and that is, of course, that it takes a massive economic bite out of Memphis. You move them, that's this huge hole that's almost impossible to fill at that point. But if you take the Nashville part of it out of it, is there not some point in time where there has to be some conversation about why are this many NBA players commenting about not necessarily the city of Memphis, but when they have to come stay and play in Memphis?
Yeah.
Talking about getting robbed on the way back and forth from FedEx Forum. Talking about this, I don't like the hotel. The hotels are not.
That's the
like
underlying
bar.
theme is the hotel.
So like there has to be some. There's got to be some fire somewhere in there that at some point. Don't we all have to? You can love your city as much as you want,
right?
But at some point, don't you have to look up and say, "All right, we're an NBA city. We got to. This can't all be true, but there's got to be some validity here that we got to start taking accountability for."
Living in big cities where there's Ritz-Carltons and Regences and all these big hotels. I mean, Weston is, depending on. Have I stayed at the Westin? No. Have I stayed at the Hyatt? No. I've stayed at the Peabody.
Those are nice hotels.
Those are nice hotels. But this is not. We're not talking about the Fairmont. Okay, this is not Courtyard Hotel, right?
Yeah.
You're not going down to the lobby and got to swipe your card on the machine.
It's not a door on the outside. Is what we're saying.
Look, I'm philosophically opposed to booking any hotel where I got to enter my door from the outside.
It ain't happening, bro.
No, but we're not talking about. Those hotels.
Yes,
right.
nice
We're talking about these. The Westin is right there. You got the Hyatt a few blocks away. There's even You know, the A-Loft, they're not going to stay there, obviously. But for me, if it's really about you're going to dirty an entire city you only come here for maybe 6 nights out of the year. That's not enough to say that you don't like the city for.
So approach it in a different way, because that's what I'm trying to ask. Is like how do we as Memphis change the NBA experience for the players, or improve it, or do whatever has to be done so that people stop saying stuff like that? Because to your point, this isn't going to be the only city where maybe somebody doesn't like the hotels.
I mean, that's why he mentioned Milwaukee, too.
I mean, Milwaukee. I mean, listen, there are other NBA cities that aren't, massive, huge places you've got to be.
This is a fact.
You know? Utah, people will quit before they go play in Utah.
Do they have Ritz-Carltons in Akron, Ohio?
No. No. And, I mean, he said he doesn't like going home, but see, the thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is when he tried to walk it back and make it about the hotels, he didn't say Milwaukee should leave, or of course he's not going to say Cleveland should move to Columbus or something like that. But why did he say the Grizzlies should move to Nashville? It almost felt like he was jumping on a bandwagon. Now, like to Ruben's point, most of the athletes have talked about the hotels, but LeBron and Draymond, 2 NBA All-Stars,
have
both specifically said go to Nashville. And my biggest thing is, like, you talk about Nashville, let's look at the Titans. The Titans are toward the bottom in attendance. I think they're ranked 31 out of 32 in attendance.
And they're not good also, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like, is Vanderbilt, do they have some of the top attendance in the SEC? No.
Vanderbilt has improved and they've grown. And I understand why people on the outside who don't live in Memphis or don't understand the heart of Memphis would say, well, man, why don't you just, for the same reason that if you tried to start a team in Tulsa, they'd say, just move it to Oklahoma City, right? It's the way people think if you're not from that.
Yeah,
just go take it down the road.
That's not going to fix it.
But I like the Grizzlies being in Memphis because it's its own identity.
Yeah.
You take the Grizzlies to Nashville, and it's not the same identity. It doesn't have the same pull. It's just not the same thing. So I like the Grizzlies in Memphis. I think Memphis supports the Grizzlies when the Grizzlies aren't taking every game. I think Memphis supports the Grizzlies in a way that other cities wouldn't. I mean, the heart and soul, like the grit and grind, the playing the songs that they play together, it's definitely Memphis. You know what I mean?
Very much.
They just had Project Pat at the last game.
There's like some of the songs on radio. I'm glad my child's 22. I would just not have that channel on. But for me, as an entrepreneur and small business owner, if I had a brick and mortar, whether it be a restaurant or a shop or a bar on Front or Main or Peabody, right in that little pocket, and the Grizzlies left, I mean, they depend on that. That's revenue they depend on, the let out. You know, I was at restaurant on Thursday was the last game? No, Friday.
Yeah.
And I was in there chilling. And then the game was over, and it just, and I was like, oh, the game must be over. And here comes the talent. And so for me, it was like, that's what those businesses look forward to on those nights. They schedule, they staff up.
100%.
They staff up on those nights for a reason. So the city needs it for lots of reasons, but I think there's a lot of small business owners here, and they depend on revenue from big teams and walk-by traffic.
Do you think that because the lease is up in 2029 and we're less than 3 years away, that has kind of added to the flame of the Grizzlies potentially leaving? Yes. Because we're getting closer and closer, no deal is done. And we've seen it in other sports. We've seen it as little as the Chiefs going from Kansas City, Missouri to Kansas City, Kansas. We've seen it, big things with the Oakland Athletics. They couldn't get a deal done, DC. And they're headed to Vegas. Like you said, DC. So that it's real, it's reality. But I know Memphians don't want to hear it, and it's like the Grizzlies aren't going anywhere, but the facts are the facts. A new deal is not reached. And now, like I said, that's why I think people are a little bit more fearful, because now you got LeBron, the face of the league, saying that, and then we're looking at the reality. The Grizzlies ain't re-signed the deal at FedEx Forum, and they're not winning right now, so that also be like, oh, well, they're not going to re-sign here. People ain't going to the games because they're not winning.
I think sometimes a team needs a shiny thing.
Yeah.
I think we have had a shiny thing, but that shiny thing sometimes has had a blemish, and so maybe it's a recruit that we're waiting on. Sometimes, teams, not saying any team would sandbag, but sometimes they sandbag so that they can get those new.
They definitely tank.
Who is the shiny thing?
No. Don't do my man like that. Don't do my man like that. We ain't doing that.
But I mean, there's lots of opportunities for people who are looking to go be like the face of something, and so there's a lot of passion around people. The guys who are in the team, I see them a lot because of where I live, but they love playing here. I mean, but it's what else, Are they first, second year in the league, or are they a vet, right?
There's a lot that goes into some of this stuff where, small market, what we consider small market NBA teams, they do struggle. They struggle to keep talent over long periods of time. Oklahoma City's been kind of the benchmark for how to change the philosophy around small market NBA teams.
Thanks to KD.
They've done it well. They had James, they had Russ, KD, and Harden.
And then later down the line got Paul George.
Then they got rid of all of them, right? And then changed the way they built their organization. And instead of trying to go get big three, they said, let's go get big one and build around one. Yeah. And that's what they did with SGA. So Memphis may be on that same trajectory. If any small market in the NBA is doing their business, they're doing their homework, they should be watching the Oklahoma City Thunder and seeing how they've done it and what they've built. Yeah, and how can we follow that same model? Because not only are they successful on the court, but in that city they are massively successful.
And they're getting a new arena.
Yes, they make so much money that it's not hard for them to do that. And so I think that to your point about shiny new things, that might be, and sometimes the fans need that. Sometimes the fans need something new, that reset. And so the trick and the question will be, can they get that all done before that deal is up? Because if you can't right the wrongs and get the team to where people want to see it, and kind of start showing people, hey, we're on this path. You're gonna want to be on this train. Right. Then the fans won't show up. And when the fans don't show up and you're selling tickets for $5 to NBA games,
$2 on TickPick.
That's a problem. That's a problem. You can't
cost
do it
more
that
to
way.
park than to go to a Grizzlies game.
If you can't see the number on the back of someone's jersey, I don't want to go to that game anyway. But I think that franchise players have value. I know that. Every team, regardless of what sport, you need a franchise player.
Yep.
And sometimes you put everything and invest so much into this one franchise player, and sometimes that franchise player may let you down. It make goofy decisions is the new term now. They say goofy.
The youngins say that.
Yeah. Yes.
We're old. We don't. Well,
I'm older than everybody sitting here. So
how about that? I might be right there with you.
I'm 52.
Okay, you got it. I should have said what that Kevin Hart. Damn.
What is it? That was it. He was like, he's offended. Being new to Memphis, I got here in September. I didn't know what to expect when I got here. Now that I have any preconceptions on, I'm gonna go to a game. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm gonna do all these things. I just want to come here and understand the city, and embrace it and enjoy it. And regardless if I'm playing pickleball or golf or tennis or I'm shuffleboard or bowling, I want to be able to enjoy it. And so I think that this is also a strong university city. You got UM here. Yeah. So people can get behind. I'm more of a fan of college basketball than I am.
Ruben done got his guy.
Thank you.
Ruben done got his guy. Oh, man.
Thank you. Somebody with sense finally on this.
Ruben done got his guy.
And so for me, that's exciting because they're hungry. Oh. They haven't gotten that check yet. Well, some of them have, but they not that check. Like they haven't. So they're still hungry. Because they still want something next. NBA players have already got what they got. It may not be the team that they want to be on, but the difference for me is that college sports, like this past week with the Final Four, I didn't watch any men's basketball. I didn't watch any of the men's Final Four stuff. I just watched the women's stuff because for me, they were gritty. And they were fighting.
There were some
and they wanted
surprises
it.
in
And they
that.
wanted it.
Man,
I
I was
didn't pick
shocked.
UCLA to have that big of a gap.
Molly
but
Wa-
that Juarez, what's her name?
Yeah.
She couldn't miss. She was.
Well,
She was just.
when you
she
got
was-
Lauren Betts in there,
Yeah.
just getting. I mean, they couldn't stop Lauren Betts.
Yeah.
South Carolina had to play small, and when Joyce Edwards is your biggest big on the floor most of the time because the MCOT could not hit a shot to save her life, then Lauren Betts is just going to eat all day, and then that's why I just think it became a real. That game got out of hand really fast, and I know that Dawn Staley knew it was out of hand early because she never lost her mind. She never wigged out. She never once got mad.
Compared to like how Gino
Right?
was.
She just didn't. She kept that paper rolled up, and she sat down, and you could almost see it on her face saying, "We just ain't got it today."
I felt like she was kind of quiet in that Connecticut
Because
game.
she knew. She
Connecticut game. Well,
Yeah.
because you didn't see her. But neither did the cameras go over to her.
Yeah.
I did notice that. I noticed that the cameras did not go find her purposefully.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You
but
think it's because of the UConn game? And how that went?
no. I mean, no. Well, I didn't watch. I watched the last 2 quarters, the last half of this last game with UCLA.
Okay.
But I watched the entire game of the UConn game. But I look at stuff everybody else doesn't look at, and I look at because for me with the tour, I'm always wondering why doesn't the camera find women of color on the camera? Are they just not focused on them? Is it intentionally, or is it unintentional, or is it just I'm just focused on this thing? But surely we did not see the camera throughout the game go over to Dawn and just get her facial expressions or her energy or whatever. But I say the whole thing with that was a whole nother mess with Gino. But he lied, and then everybody was like, the camera got evidence.
Yeah.
You did
Got
shake
you
her
in
hand.
4K.
Yeah, man, in 4K, you shook her hand, and she shook. Everybody saying fist bump. Everybody. I mean, I was like, she literally said hello to every single person.
Yeah, and the women's game don't play around about Dawn Staley. And
Yeah.
in the women's game, they don't.
Making her case to be the GOAT.
You don't play around with Dawn Staley. Full disclosure, I coach girls basketball, club basketball, right? So I'm gone all spring and summer doing this. So I've met and seen Dawn Staley several times. So when I tell you, she is the GOAT in person. She is. It doesn't matter who else is around. When Dawn Staley's around, the other coaches give her the same reverence that you would. You got Vic Schaefer and all these other big name coaches that are around. They take a step when Dawn's there because she is just that person. So I think that when Gino reacted the way he did, the whole women's basketball community
like,
kind
what
of
are you
stood up and
doing?
said, "That's not the one. Don't play with her."
Not this auntie.
Yeah, don't play with
That's
her.
Auntie Dawn.
Yeah, so that wasn't going to last. I think it's interesting that you say that you watched a lot of the women's game because you are involved with women's sports, obviously.
Everybody watches women's sports.
I watched the women's Final Four as well for the same reason I coach women's basketball a lot. And so I was really, really, really shocked at how that game went. I was also shocked at how it ended up getting that direction. It was just not what I expected. But hats off to UCLA and Coach Corey Close because she has been building that for years. And people
Finally
don't
to get over
understand.
the hump.
5 seniors starting, right? She started 5 seniors in that game. That does not happen in the transfer portal world right now.
So what happens next year for them?
They got some youngsters, and now they got to get in that portal.
Well,
She's been
USC is
building
coming.
this.
They got some competition all in the state,
Speaking of which, the NCAA tournament, your boys lost.
It doesn't matter.
Your
I still
boys
beat
lost.
you, though.
No, you didn't. I looked at the standings.
I still beat you, though.
No, I looked at the standings. You can't beat me.
How I can't? I
I
have more
looked at
people in
the
the Final
standings
Four than you do.
today.
So who is this guy?
I
He had
went with Arizona.
And I had Michigan.
Arizona almost sent me back to welfare. I doubled down. we don't do 9-on-1 bets anymore.
You double down too much.
We don't do 9-on-1 bets on this show anymore. But if we did, I would have put big money on Arizona. Yeah, let's just say I need a lot of overtime to recover from that game.
All right, so we've talked about a lot, and I know we started this thing talking about LeBron and the NBA, and we kind of transitioned into some college. But let's wrap. We got a couple minutes left. Let's wrap this thing up on the NBA, the Grizzlies, and kind of that experience. As somebody who works in the professional sports world, and when you're bringing a tour or athletes to a city, what are the first things you look for in the city when you're bringing a tour in?
Will they embrace the tour?
Okay.
And will they get behind it? I'm in a unique position because I'm not just the tour commissioner. I own the tour. So as a black man owning a professional golf league, my brain works in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I'm very fortunate to have come up with the concept. But when I go to a city, I chose city based on the culture of the city, the population of the city, the demographic of the city, and also is that city currently actively playing golf? And you just see a lot of women playing golf leisurely and competitively. And then that is what draws me to that, because that helps me identify, will people come out? Will they support? Can I find sponsors?
Yep, that's a big part.
Because you go into it, it's not like NBA. They already got money. Yeah. They're not going in there to go.
Print money.
No, I gotta go like 6 months to 60 days in. Hi, we need sponsors for this. We need this, cover this hotel, to cover that, And so our overhead is not so much, but we do go into cities with very much an intention of how do we make sure we get support locally.
Gotcha.
But that's it. But for us, that's really my thing. And can I find organizations who will get behind it so that I don't have to carry the whole weight myself?
We appreciate your time, Mr. Tariq. So much knowledge you have given us. I am looking forward to this golf tournament. Can somebody win? Is there a winner of this?
Yeah, man.
Somebody better win.
Somebody's got to win.
No, and we got $20,000 purse. So
that's what I was about to say.
first
What's
place,
the money on the line?
Yeah,
Where the money at?
It's 20 grand. First place is $7,500. And we go down to 10th place.
So you spread it out.
Yeah, so we spread it out. So
what does 10th place get?
I think it's $250.
Yeah. Get my money back to Arizona. I need that $250.
That's a flight.
That's a flight.
And so a lot of our women stay in hotels. Some of them stay with friends. They got Airbnbs. So yeah, but it's money. It's money on the line.
Lucky it's a women's only thing, because if it was men, I get my $250 back from Arizona.
He about to try to
I get my money back.
He gonna Joanna man this thing.
I get my money back.
No.
See, we were talking about earlier about golf being such a stress reliever. It is for me. Like, I have a membership with Topgolf. I go there to relieve. But it's not the same. But it's still swinging the club and stuff like that. And it do make me think that maybe my dad was on
like
something.
a plastic card.
So you ain't a Topgolf fan?
You didn't say Topgolf fan.
It's a good,
you
it's
say
a good stress reliever though.
It's a great way to go away and go spend $100 in an hour.
Yeah, you could just go to the course. You should just go to the course. Go to the
but you got to get them nachos and drinks and.
Who do that? You get free appetizers. We ain't trying to do no free sponsor.
Oh, sorry. But it's for me, it's enjoy golf how you enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is now becoming a very different sport than it was 3 years ago and 5 years ago, especially 50 years ago, and it is becoming a cool sport to enjoy with your family, your friends, and business associates. And I think the more we lean into that, I think it's going to be better for everybody.
All right, we're going to leave it on that. How about that? We leave it at that point. We couldn't have said it any better.
All right, we appreciate your time. When we come back, Ruben and I will do the best thing that we saw. Stay close.